Extreme Snowbreak would be an arcade-focused snowboarding game that was released for the PlayStation in 1998. That was developed by Virtual Studio, but was published, depending on the region, by Microids or Atlas. That would see you take on the role of different characters that give you the ability to enter different modes from time trial, various championships and stunt-based events, mainly with the idea to compete in championships to unlock some of the other characters and courses that you can also race on. So you can also race head to head against your mates in the multiplayer mode, but the single player mode will require you to race against other characters on the screen and to win the overall championship again in order to unlock everything that's involved in the game. But in order to really gain access to all of those features, you have to play the game on the hardest difficulty. But looking back over the reviews of the game, was stating that even on harder difficulties, the game still is manageable to many aspects, that you still will be able to achieve many of the game's features, but it really just depends on luck. Now, the game did receive average reviews among critics, many liking the arcade visual style, more of a cartoony style, more to the point, and the gameplay is quite straightforward, where you have to race against opponents but you also have to avoid obstacles in the way and other challenges such as jumps and trying not to fall off cliffs and so forth. And the game is entertaining and it is quite fun, quite addictive in many cases, but one of the main issues with the game, or two of the main issues really, is the bad camera, as the camera can fluctuate very quickly, leaving you almost disorientated when you're playing. If anything, it can actually give you a headache. I found that from playing it the first time. It was just like there was so much when you're trying to move the camera around. Like you can use like the square button to kind of allow you to do quick turns, or use one of the buttons on the controller to allow you to turn faster around sharper corners, but the camera will literally flip around that fast that you're not even ready for it, so it completely can throw you off and disorientate you altogether, almost to the point that you feel like you're about to have motion sickness from the game. But aside from that gripe, with the gameplay, there's unlockable features to obtain, but there's not an awful lot to keep you engaged. Once you've completed all of the essential aspects and challenges, there's nothing really else left for you to do. And that was one of the major issues that the magazine stated, that once you've finished and completed and beat the game in its entirety, there's nothing left really to do. There's no or very little replay value in the game, so essentially it will lead players wanting to go off and find something else. So for its time, you would have alternatives such as the likes of Cool Borders 2 and other similar games that were also released on the system. As in 1998 was a popular year for these type of games, as extreme sports and even snowboarding games were starting to reach a height in popularity, but still wouldn't reach their peak until at least another year or two afterwards. But it was still an interesting title. Like, the arcade aesthetics were fun to look at and very unique to the game itself. The game is very fast paced. For the short period of time that you would sit down to play it, it is quite addictive. It's challenging, but at the same time is manageable compared to other games in its caliber. It has some good audio tracks as well that really suit the aesthetic of the game, but it can be difficult in parts with regards to jumps and time and various different attributes in order to do different moves and just to make sure you're avoiding obstacles, as they can also hinder your progress and can lead to you losing races as well. So you always have to be mindful of your surroundings, and really it just boils down to timing. For what it does represent, it is a short game, it is a fun game, but in short doses. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of replay value in the game to keep you really playing for a long time, as the game only does have like a total of 6 tracks, which are quite linear, and has a limited selection of characters available, each with their own attributes and features that will suit different play styles. But it's definitely a game I think worth trying, and like I said, in short bursts, because after a certain period of time you probably will have unlocked everything anyway. So for the little bit of time that you do spend with it, I'm sure you'll have a bit of fun with it. Mind you, you will need to be patient and just to be more observant of what's going on around you. It probably will take a few attempts to understand the layouts of each of the tracks before you can fully master them and fully master all of the intricate parts and elements, so that you can at least have a chance of winning some of the races, as the AI can be defeated to a degree, but it all depends on your overall progress. You have to make sure, like I said, not to crash or to fall, and you just have to just keep doing your best, and once you do that, you will achieve success before long. But I have to say now, even like for my own time spent in playing the game, the camera was definitely the tricky part for me at the start, because everything moves around so fast and can definitely throw you off. It leaves you like just completely disorientated, but after a few minutes, when you get the hang of it, I found it to be quite enjoyable. If anything, I found it to be a lot more enjoyable compared to other games of this kind. I think because of the graphical style and the nature, the fast paced elements, but I think the fact is that it doesn't take itself seriously, unlike other titles, and that it's pretty straightforward in what it's trying to do. It's literally just racing to get through checkpoints and to try and win races and tally up enough points so that you can win the overall championships. And because it doesn't take itself too seriously, adds to the fun appeal of it. I found it to be more addictive the more I was playing it. But I think it's one of those games, like I said, it definitely suits its style for what it's trying to do. It's good in short bursts, really, because that's, I think, really all it's meant to do. Like, it's never going to appeal to long-term enthusiasts of this sport, as it's just trying to be something completely different in many respects. But it will appeal to fans of arcade racing games. That's the one thing that it definitely does quite well. So for that reason alone, it would be worth trying out. And it is something a wee bit different that you don't often see. And it does present a different experience compared to other games on the system, even if it is short-lived. But I would love to know your thoughts of Extreme Snowbreak for the PlayStation if you have played this game, or if you played it from the Japanese version, which was just simply known as Snowbreak in Japan. And what are your thoughts of this obscure game? So be sure to share it down in the comments below. And if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to be updated with future content. And if you would like to see more videos on other snowboarding or extreme sports games similar to this that were also released on the PlayStation, then check out the playlist on screen to see more of these games in action. And as always, keep those gaming memories alive.